your happiness are shared. Mainly changing that cherishing to yourself and cherish to others, right? So far we too much cherish to ourselves, not really cherish to others. That we have to change. More cherish to other, and then less cherish to self. That's the change. So way to change it is like taking all others like suffering or problem or ignorance are they are taking up onto you, and then your all virtues and happiness are sharing to others. That's way we are uh, like changing our self-centeredness, changing what another way to say, cherish to others instead of cherish ourselves. So this is the main the path and idea of this practice. And then so way to changing is first understand your all suffering and understanding all this other suffering. Then after you understand your own suffering, so then you are, what we're doing is like first we'll call reduce your depression and anxiety to thinking it's my own fault or some other conditions. And then after that, you are more calm to knowing about your own suffering. Then after the first at moments when you know the lot of suffering upon you, so you might have a lot of what called distracted, right? So making calmness of distractions or like so anxiety. So for that we are thinking all this fault, all this suffering. What I have is my own karma brings to me this. Yeah, I know it's too much Buddhism. It's talking about the based on perspective of Buddhism. So good morning. So there, yeah. So thinking that it's my own karma, right? It's my own actions. Whatever suffering happened to me, it's by my own actions. Whatever problem happening with me, it's my own actions. When you said that, and then the number one is clear that you will never blame to others. You will blame to no one's. That's where you have a very much less negative thoughts because you're nothing to blame to others, right? And then even you are not blamed to yourself because it's karma. It's just action and you are separate, right? So even not blaming yourself. So just accepting that's cause and condition, how it's functioning. Just accepting this all falls depend on cause and condition. And those cause and condition is it's not self nor others self. It's just some other cause and conditions. That's how we are thinking. And then make calm. Then after the calm, once you calms, then we are meditating that once you have suffering, all other sufferings taking up with me and my own sufferings being substitute of the other suffering, and wish that all others are liberated from suffering. It's imaginations, it's more visualizations, but still it's a lot of benefit and help. So that's how we think. And after you take the suffering from others, or after you think the all other sufferings happen upon you, within this suffering, what you have it, and the all others are freed from suffering. Then after that, you are giving, right? You are giving your all virtues, your all merits, your all happiness to sharing to others. That again, to wishing that all beings be happy, all beings be satisfied with whatever they needed, and then all beings be healthy. These kind of things. The way to work we call changing self and others, right? So once you take that practice we call practice of compassion, once you give happiness to others that we call love and kindness practice. This practice has included both compassion and love and kindness. That's the way we generating the bodhicitta, right? Okay. So now we are in a verse 32. We finish up to 31st, 31. Now we begin from verse 32. So verse 32 here says, when my prayer to three jewels are, what's that? Impotent. It is the weapon of evil karma turning upon me for not entrusting myself to the Buddha's way. From now on, I will rely slowly on the three jewels. Okay, again, you see clearly it's too much Buddhism, right? It's too much Buddhism here. So it talks about how you take refuge or how you relying on three jewels. Here we're saying three jewels. Three jewels is Buddha as a teacher, and then Dharma as a medicine, and then Sangha as a being an example how that medicines worked, right? So that's three are that which are we rely. These three are we rely on them, and mainly the refuge is we have a many refuges day by day. We take many refuge. We refuge on food. We refuge on water. Sometimes we take refuge to trees. Some we take refuge to house. So all this, you're looking protection to yourself. So this regarding is a refuge, right? So these all are temporarily reliable, not that are not reliable for liberating all suffering, or not reliable freeing from all suffering. So it's individual suffering temporarily. So that's how we take refuge. So now here we're talking about the three jewel or three ratna, which Buddha, Dharma, Sanghas. These three are we consider here to we're taking refuge to these three jewel for free from all suffering or liberation or seeking liberation. Whoever is seeking liberations or free from suffering, then we're saying we must rely on these three ratna or three jewels, which can free from us. So, and then how you know that can free from us? That's your study on Buddhism, right? What Buddha said it, that depends on how much you study it. So you are studying more, then you might know what really a method and technique teaching us to achieving liberation or free from suffering. That's the saying, right? So this is quite similar meanings the above two verse, which is 30 and 31st. Last time we talked a lot about that, the karma, and also how to do puja and prayers are, that's we talked, right? So but here individually it talks about it's not just generally talking about karma, it's not just generally talks about the puja, how it's benefiting to us, but individually how we are criticized to three jewel, to what karma brings you the result. So that's talking here, the individual with the three ratna or three jewel, object of refuge, that which usually we say object of refuge. So, okay, so anyhow, if again, I'm just a word to you, it's too much Buddhism, but still I have to explain this, right? The line. Okay. Yes, when my prayer to the three jewels are impotent, what is mean here? It seems like saying three Ratana or three jewels in front of us, and we pray or we asking to help us to protect. And sometimes it's success, sometimes it's not success. It's not success, then it's returning your own karma. Some similar, some kind of like this, that's the you understand, right? It's saying someone in front of you, then you are taking prayer, or you pray from them, you are asking for them to help and protect. So, but actual, similar that the Buddhist is not really, as I said, not really asking someone in front of us to help and protect us, right? We're not waiting to someone protect us. We are not waiting for someone come to help us. So we just follow the instruction how to free from suffering. That's what Buddhist said, right? But this line may be confused to you, the first line, when my praise to the three jewels are impotent. So that's confused to you, right? Isn't that? It's more saying that when I pray to three jewel, and then but my prayer is not having result. My prayer is not successful. That's the meaning right here. Okay. So again, this is not really completely way to prayer or rely on three jewel. In generally here, say how Buddha Dharma Sangha protect us. There are two ways to say it. One way is instruction and then blessing, right? So the blessing is similar that which we talked last Saturday class. Is even Buddha blessed to you or not, or you receive Buddha's blessing or not, it's very much depend on your actions, include your trust, your faith, right? So that's we giving example like a hook and ring. So once you have a hook, there no ring, it cannot hold it. The ring, no hook, then it cannot pull it, right? So both the hook and ring comes together and then can pull easily. That's right. So considering your faith and your actions are kind of like a ring, and Buddha's blessing as hook. It's like even we are talking about that, taking a blessing from Buddha Dhamma Sangha or receiving blessing from Buddha Dhamma Sangha. It's not saying that some giving you potential or some giving you energy or something gives you what called miracle things. It's not talking that. So again, we are not believe here miracle, right? So it's more talking about the Buddha Dhamma Sangha is always ready for help or protect to ourselves. And then you once you have that strong trust, faith, and the following instruction, then Buddha Dhamma Sangha will protect you. If you not follow the instruction, Buddha Dhamma Sangha cannot protect you. That's the way the saying receiving blessing, right? So within these two, to like I say, follow the instruction or receiving blessing, we within these two, we are more rely on follow the instruction to protect yourself or to free from suffering. So that's you should understand here the line when my prayers to the three jewels are impudence. Okay. Another way to say it, usually we say all our happy years, happiness, enjoy are blessed by Buddha. That's we believe that way, right? So what does it really mean? It's not mean that Buddha give you happiness, right? It's not mean that Buddha takes all your suffering out. It cannot. Buddha cannot give us happiness as like a giving us chocolate or clothes. They cannot give us like this. So, and then, yeah. So how then? Why we talk this all our happiness and good qualities are the Buddha's bless, right? Or it's saying Buddha's activities, which is really means actually all this happiness which you have it, all this potential or good quality what you have it is all depend on your own practice. So the practicing that one things we believe here, once you practice virtues, when you practice what we call accumulate a lot of merit, then you will we'll call you will have a lot of happiness, because the actual cause of happiness is virtue. That's we said it, right? What means virtue actions. Virtue actions means again here to not lying others or not killing anything else, not stealing, and so on and so on. That's what we call virtuous actions. So that's all virtue actions. Actually, how you know to engaging those virtue actions because of the teaching, right? So that's the how connected that our happiness is Buddha's bless, or our happiness is like a what I call the Buddha's activities that we talks means like all between this we have a virtuous actions. All the directly all the happiness are the caused by the virtuous actions, right? The virtue actions comes from the teaching. So that's the how say everything is Buddha's blessed. Even when we eat and drink, we offering. It's one of the common all the religions, right? The Krishnadi offer to gods when they eat, before they eat and drink, and then as well all the other religions. So when we eat and drink, we offer to Buddha Dhamma Sangha. That's one way to do it. Then why we offering to Buddha Dhamma Sangha? Let's say why other religious offering to their gods? Why they do this? Why they do offer before they eat and drink? Sorry? Bless? Taking blessing, therefore we are offering? Thankful, right? Okay, I see. Yeah. Why we think?
Well,
because you give us this.
Another answer, if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Yeah, another answer to other gods. Sometimes we do it to appease the god or to have the god's favor, so the god will give us happiness, which is not the same thing in Buddhism, I think.
And I definitely not same, but there are common things is we graduate to either God or Buddha because there's happiness, that's delicious food is the gift by God or gift by Buddha. That's the thing, right? But way to gift is different. So the Buddhists we thank to Buddha Dhamma Sangha because this all the delicious food and happiness comes from my own virtues. My own virtues is knowing by your teachings. My own virtues actually. That's how connected to Buddha. But maybe if I'm not wrong, the other like a Krishnadi, the gift by God directly, right? It's not just connection between your actions. Is it true, right? Okay. So we Buddhists talked about the between connection is your actions. So therefore we, without we knowing the virtues, without knowing this all the path, we will not engage, right? And we engaging because their kindness. That's the way we graduated. We are not thinking that Buddha directly give us this food or directly give us happiness. That we not accept that, right? So you always, your action is in the connection in the middle between the holy object and yourself. So therefore, even we eat and drink, we offer thanks to this all Three Ratna. Because of that, we're having those because we know how to engage, we know how to collect it, cause for those happiness because of your instruction. That's how I say it. Okay. I have a few lines from Lamrim, the Lamrim stage, the path from enlightenment. So let me read it. It's like connected with how protected or how we all this happiness are connected with the Buddha's blessing. That's the regarding here. The Podowa said, Podowa is one of the Tibetan great master and practitioner, great practitioner, right? Podowa said, if you reflect on the Buddha's good quality again and again, you will receive the blessing commensurate. What's that?
Commensurate.
Oh, commensurate. Okay. Commensurate with the strength of your faith and purity of your mind. Because you have gained certainty about them, you will go for refuge from the depth of your heart and train yourself in the perceived of refuge. Then everything you do will become a practice of the teaching. This is how one thinks, right? If you are the taking refuge means our like a Buddhist way to say taking refuge means following instruction or you engaging practice. That's what it means, right? It is said that we value the Buddha's knowledge even less than that of the Akur diviner. Okay. Again, it talks to Buddhist. So we said we are very much trust to Buddha Dhamma Sangha because we took refuge, or we rely on Buddha Dhamma Sangha. But in a practical, how much we rely on Buddha Dhamma Sangha? That's the saying, right? So in the practical, you are more relying on scientists or the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. That's one question. In a practical, you are more relying on your friend or Buddha Dhamma Sangha. It's again another question, right? And then all more rely on the professor book or Buddha Dhamma Sangha's teaching. So which are you really relying in a daily basis, in our practically, what we rely on? So when we investigate that way, we are very much relying on Buddha Dhamma Sangha. I mean, we much less rely on Buddha Dhamma Sangha, more rely on your friends, or more rely on a professor who is very famous, more rely on your here they give example saying diviner. Diviner is like a Tibetan community and many other communities too much rely on a diviners, right? So once diviners say that, oh, you will have a problem in the future, too much anxiety and very much worry and stress, and try to follow exactly instruction what diviner said, right? And sometimes we too much follow astrology, isn't that? Very much rely on astrology, and astrology said, okay, this and that, this year will become a that and this. So we're very much stressed and scared, and then because we very much trust on it. So that's how we are. We are very much rely on astrology and diviners, friends, and science, and so on and so on. So that's why we happening this, right? How come this, even after you took refuge? So in practical, we do that. We do that a lot. It's not just here, Westerner Buddhists. Even like a long-term Buddhist, our Tibetan community or some other countries who are born Buddhists, they also do that. They say, oh, I'm taking refuge to Buddha Dhamma Sangha, but where you really relying on in daily basis? nothing to do with the Buddha Sangha. You don't have any business to do with the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Just some of them you forget, completely forget Buddha Dhamma Sangha until you come to teaching or you do meditations. Or you have a heavy suffering, right? So completely forget that. And then it's do actions and practice totally different. So that's when we have to really investigate, right? So let's say in 21st centuries, most of us very much rely on sciences, isn't that right? Did you ever investigate the scientists and science, how much valuable, how much true? Are they have guessing things? Are they do have assumptions, the scientists, right? So look back to our, I'm just aware to you, I'm not blaming to any scientist. We investigating, we are analyzing, looking what is real, right? So otherwise, when you see the gentleman with the suit, you already just like you're already doing respect because of their suit, the cloth, right? No, so we have to look at the inside and then do it, right? So that's the way we see, live, investigate, or analyze on it. See, our scientists do have an assumption or not. That's one thing, right? If they do have assumptions, then again, how come it's very much true and reliable? Because it's assumptions, right? So, but you might say, okay, they prove a lot, which we can see, which we can touch. Therefore, there are no assumption. This is the right reason, or this is perfect reason to say that. They do not have any assumptions because they prove us. Yeah, what do you can say?
Well, I mean, even the way they observe things, that impacts the outcome. The Heisenberg principle is that just looking at something is going to change the outcome of it. So that says you have to question somebody else and how to use it and how they do it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, maybe Laura, can you translate, or can you represent Ivan? Our voice is very soft. They cannot hear it.
I didn't get a lot of it either. I'll take the mask off.
Okay.
So there is a principle, I think it's the Heisenberg principle. And it says that even as the process of the scientist observing the experiment will change the outcome of the experiment. So it depends on how they observe it and who's observing it to have a different outcome.
Oh, okay.
So it's not always repeatable. And this is a pretty famous physics principle of physics. And so even scientists recognize that. And His Holiness has had these meetings, scientists explaining these things.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah, that's true. So therefore, that's the way we have to investigate actually. Same way the college or school, the professor, your young generation, I see is whatever the professor said in class, whatever majority accepted, they think it's very reliable. They think it's very true. Always caution, always put in a question, right? Even majority accept it. How come it's right? Not necessarily it's right because of majority accepted. It's not necessary to write because professor they said in the class, in the college, right? It's not necessary. So even it's not necessary that Buddha said it's right. Not necessary, right? So therefore, always we investigate and hear it. Recently, I had very much discussion with racism, yeah. So, and then I asked, in India, we do have when you go to bus, there are two different seats, the female seat and male seat, right? And like a senior seat and like a junior seat. They have put this, and all they are accepted. And this is a good way to protect it. In India, they accepted it, there's no problem. So, and someone sitting in the female seat, then one female comes, they have a right to do so, you go the other seat. So they right to that. So it's for kind of protections. Is this racism or not?
No.
Because we talk, so, okay, this is female side, this is male side.
Sexism basis like person's sex.
Yeah, and then even when we investigate, we racism by the color, we racism by the countries, we racism by the cultures, many different ways, right? When you look at how you define the racism, then for that you think this is the one example. And in a class, who come first, we give good prize. Who come fail, just we're not giving any prize, right? But part of this kind of encouraging or discouraging, whatever you call. But this is also, we should think, is this racism or not?
It's not racism. Racism is hating someone on the basis of their skin color or, yeah.
It's always necessary skin color,
It was,
gender?
well, no, it's not gender. It was.
No, I mean, like, we do have a gender problem.
Yes, but
Yeah.
racism is very different from a gender problem.
Yes.
It was created in Germany by scientists who did experiments on African people,
Mhm.
and then they did experiments on the Jewish people. So racism is hating someone for the color of their skin, saying that they're inferior because they look a certain way.
Okay, exactly. So when we like a school, a class, right? So who is not listening? The professor hate it.
No, but it's not the same thing. You're-
No, we have to investigate. So it not immediately say that's exactly not, because where the reason you give me reason that very good. So the reason apply to other things is suitable or not. What is this? So many things we doing in a conflict. Some call racism, some do not call racism, even same reason and even same attitude. So how come those, right? So, okay, I'll little bit go far. So coming back here, back to here. So talking about that, which we should rely or we shouldn't rely. That's what we're talking here, main things, right? And even like a majority accepted, it's not necessary, again, I'm saying here, not reliable. It's not necessary, it's reliable, right? Mhm.
So, Geshe, if I think about racism, I think in terms of the three poisons. So I think of ignorance and I think of hatred.
Mhm.
And so those are two big components of racism. So if you use a Buddhist perspective view, you can see that that's going to be a problem.
Mhm.
Correct? Is that an appropriate way to look at it? So
Okay.
even investigating, we use the tools of the Dharma, and we see that racism has hatred and ignorance. You know, and then there's something that's going to cause a problem. You know?
And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
hatred and ignorance based in science. So what you're talking about is right on cue, because it was a science that said that this is the way it is, and it's not authentic.
Yeah, so science, that's what we're saying, right?
Yeah.
So yes, science, it's a lot of proof to us to which we can, it's functional, which we can use it, but it's not always reliable, right? So scientists prove so far one things, and then after a few years, again changing it. That's a clearly see it's not 100% reliable. Yes, please.
Racism was created way before the science became involved, you know. And then they tried to use science with eugenics and stuff. That was much later.
Well,
We
it
had-
was the scientists that came up with the name and the
but the existence of it.
the
you know,
existence
the
of it was there.
existence of
yes.
it, and
But
share.
they put it
Hatred.
into a system,
That
as
they
you will.
create, so it's all been a
Yes.
created
Mhm.
falsehood.
Mhm.
That just sort of reinforced bad decisions,
Well, it was-
societal, running of our, but I mean.
It was based on a whole system of how to break a mind down.
Right, but I mean, but I'm just saying, the existence of it was created way before science tried to justify it.
So this is exactly
And
the
then we
point
had-
around perspective,
Right,
right? The
exactly.
point around
It's all-
perspective and about
exactly.
how science can
Mhm.
be influenced by the perspective of the practitioner. And so what you're saying is that there's a perspective that predates the 20th century.
Correct.
I believe Aristotle was quoted saying that certain people had certain characteristics that made them more suitable for certain kinds of work.
Yeah.
Right? And that is exactly where the eye of the beholder makes a certain kind of perspective around the reality that needs to be observed. What is the perspective that I am bringing to this particular area of study, to this particular experience that I'm having of reality, and how my perspective is impacting my reality?
Okay, yeah.
Where you mentioned that a more suitable term might be discrimination, because this covers like age and gender and race. all these
Okay.
things, Discrimination.
I see. Okay. Yeah, discrimination. We do a lot of discrimination then. So, even today,
It was good that you
Yeah.
did that. It was good that you brought that racism up. I don't know, for me, it was awesome.
Okay. Even now, so this is mainly I'm saying we are rely on too much community activities, majority exceptions, and that's how we change it. All this, doesn't matter how long when it started, when the beginning, this all the what we're doing it doesn't matter what defined right now, how it's affected now, how it's benefiting now. That's what we should think. Now, time in school, in the college, now they really not say she and he. Now they say they. What is this then? This is how changing now. It's going more. So, and the more conflicted, more problem, right? Leave it, how is it? She is she, he is he, transgender is transgender, it's true. Right? We accept that way, we go on. Right? So this is, how community driving us to make more conflict and problem. So how much conflict, again, I'm saying here, how much conflict it comes, that much problems comes, right? So now we have a big problem with the racism on gender and so on and so on. Now we will have a problem with calling he or she. Now we cannot call he is he, she is she, because the community problem. Isn't that? This is how it's changing time by time, generation to generation. And mainly comes from where? And then maybe college, maybe community, maybe school. And then why we should follow that? Sometime we try to stop in the moment to having big problem in the future. Now no one shoot it to call he or she. One day might have to shoot it calling he or she. That much increases, that much goes problem. We are not concerning or we are not stopping these things to what coming future, right? So definitely I can assume I can do assume that maybe have a problem with the big problem with the call she and he and she. Today is not that much big happening. It's happening in a new, like a young generations, happening in a college and school, but outside not that much active. But once comes in outside of college and school, very actively, then comes shooting them, because we already have an anger, and that anger give a new name, new concept to get that anger. So calling she or he, or so bad to call he or she, right? And then new concept comes. That's one of the cause increases our anger then. And then it's fighting and shooting is close there once have anger, right? So this is how our changing in our world to bringing more suffering. less peace because of those things. Concept, right? Many concept comes. So anyhow, so therefore we are saying here in a community, so what really you rely or not rely on daily basis is mainly in your analytical mind. This is the best things you rely on. Not the college, not the professor, not the community. Your analytical mind is the best reliable. You understand?
What about the victims?
Yeah, I will come back to you.
I think we're having a big problem with that, just like with large companies giving large donations to either health institutions where you find like one doctor who gets paid off to say one thing and say, okay, these vaccinations are good for you, and then studies come out, a few years down the line, say your immune system is stronger than after you've been vaccinated and boosted, or they're pumping in money into the schools to teach this critical race theory to our young children, so when they grow up, they believe a certain way. And you see a teacher from a certain university, and everybody sees these people on TV, and they start, okay, well, this is a teacher from a famous university like Harvard or something, or this doctor's from a famous hospital, and they use these people to through the mass media, which seems like they're all projecting the same narrative to have the same storyline rather than just be objective news journalists. But people just, when I walk around and, you see people that aren't really all that sick, but they have like these huge numbers, and you find out that the hospitals were saying, oh, they died from COVID, but they were only COVID positive. They didn't really die from COVID. They're changing these numbers, and they scare the people. And that's not what I see around the community, but when you see it on TV, it's a completely different world. And I think a lot of people are getting sucked into this TV news that's really affecting how they should think.
Yeah, many of them is easily accepting it without any investigations. So that's like we are creating more wrong and difficulty in our daily life. So therefore I say our analytical mind is very much reliable. Whatever you hear, before you accept it, you think. Doesn't matter, even Buddha taught. Before you accept, you think, you investigate. Same way, do it to everyone. Scientist, professor, community, or leader, whatever they say, investigate. Like I said, we already established some kind of rule and regulation. There's nothing to investigate. We should follow, right? So say they have a rule and regulations. Until it's changed, there are no option that we should follow, right? Then you can investigate for change that, but until change it, we should follow. This is how make peace life, a peace world. So following rule and regulation is also, it's a good idea to having more peaceful. So otherwise, in not really have a rule and regulation established by government or this community, in general things, you always investigate to take it or not take it. Doesn't matter who said that. Doesn't matter what teachings comes from, what ideas comes from, doesn't matter. So always take your investigate. So this is to save yourself. This is the save world. This is the way to save world, right? Okay. So this is therefore I'm saying when sometime I see the gentleman and with the suit boot and tie, very like a fancy looks. Sometimes I see it's like a childish. So, but that clothes deluded us to see childish, right? We already accepted that suit, that clothes is something that, and then name of the leaders, president, mayor, whatever you call. So they do have a power that no question that we all accepted, right? So when we see that, we always see very high without any investigation. It could be wrong. Sometimes we see those leaders and those like hats are actually looks like a childish, right? So therefore it's not accept by any without any reason. That's the saying. Accepted anything with the reason, right? Therefore, this is how we are looking. Here talking about Buddha Dhamma Sangha, but in general, mainly saying which you relying or what is reliable or what is not reliable in your daily life. That's the main talking here. So, and then I was a diviners are regarding here, the diviners are not reliable. Astrologists, astrology, right? They're not really reliable. The reliable is how much you do have experiences to bringing more peace in your life, and peace in your community, and peace to the world. These are the reliable. Your experience are reliable. Your analytical minds are reliable. So therefore, more rely on it and go ahead. Other things you think.
We also, I feel, when I'm analyzing something, I also have to be aware of what I'm bringing to the table, right? So it's not that I can analyze something with like a pure thought.
Or completely
Because
final
I'm
decision.
bringing my stuff into my analyzing, and so I have to also pay attention to what am I being influenced by before I can come up with that reasonable decision. And so for me, it's always working on my awareness as to what is influencing my perception. It's just like what you said before. It's all, we could all be looking at the same thing, but depending on what angle we're looking at it,
That's true.
what we see and its use, right, or whatever, it's something else,
Definitely.
So I think it's really important to pay attention to, even when I'm coming to that conclusion, what's what's influencing that, right?
Yeah. Additionally, okay, I'll come back to you. Okay.
No, it's actually fine.
You have something?
No, it's fine.
Okay. So additionally here, when we analyze, we have one wisdom here, just one person. That cannot conclude everything. It could be wrong. So there were how we do it, or many ways to analyze it. Sometimes discussion with the people, sometimes reading book, right? And sometimes think in your own experience. These three are the good things, good way to analyze. Just discussion with the people, and then reading many books, and then also analyze or based on your experiences. These are the good. So without these things, maybe we will not give you exactly the good reason. Then your conclusions, your finalizable goals could go wrong, even you do analyze. So it takes time, not really a short period way to analyze it, not just by yourself. Many different ways to analyze. That's how you can finalize. And then you might think, why making so conflicting decision? Why making so complete to take decision in my life? So that's concerning your happiness, community happiness, world happiness, the peace. That little bit need to think, right? Not just jumped. So, but some easy part that we really don't have to think a lot. There are so many easy understanding there, but sometimes the situations comes very difficult and tough. Then we have to think. So now, example, I'm saying we should follow to say he or not, just say they, not saying he or she. We should follow or not. That's the way to analyze. This is one way to analyze, actually, think by yourself. And then if you think it's not necessary, then think, how can I stop this in myself? How can I stop this to my friends? How can I stop this to my community? Right? So that's the giving example I say, analyze. Every single things I do, we don't have to analyze, right? How I drink tea, don't have to analyze, right? Yes.
What if your analyzation has been misleading?
Misleading, that's possible.
Yeah.
Therefore, I said
And then-
analyze with the discussion other.
Yeah, but what if you analyze something and then you realize another time that you're wrong, but you have already tried to influence other things, but in reality, you may have had an ignorant source for your analyzation.
It's very true. It's very possible. So yeah, so as you said, it could be misleading. Therefore, not like a short period to analyze it, take long time, and then many different ways. So, and then, yeah, sometime sometimes some situations comes in our life, very unique things, right? Very unique things no one knows. But then how you can analyze these things with others, because all books nothing say that. All people not that much awareness on it. So that kind of things, maybe we have to rethink how to analyze it. Otherwise, in general, that all those common things, definitely we can analyze it before we accept it, before we follow it, before we engage it.
Is that the reliance on the guru is helping you if there's something that you can't find any other sources of knowledge?
Yeah, this is one thing. Even the guru and Buddha, it's their speech is again not really reliable. Usually we say we respect the guru, we respect the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, and then follow their instruction. It's not saying simply follow their instruction. Follow their instruction based on your analyze it. So that's the saying. Even doesn't matter who there are few. We have a technique that how to analyze, right? There are 4 reliable or 4 not reliable, and then 4 logic. That's all used for analyze. So 4 reliable is like a rely on a word, not rely on a person, right? The person and their speech, more rely on their speech, not rely on their person. Person could be high level, high rank. Person could be low rank or low level, or person could be children. Right? Person could be seniors. But where we judging is high ranking, more truth, low ranking, less truth, right? And then seniors are more truth, children are less truth. Seniors are more educated, children are less educated. That's how we define it. That's how we discriminate it, right? So that's our way we judging whatever the person said. That's the Buddhist said that's wrong way to rely. Not rely person. Doesn't matter person who is. Either higher, lower, senior, junior, doesn't matter. What they said it, what they talk it, that's what you should more think and rely on. That's the one first say. Not rely person, rely their speech. Even in speech, they have like a definite meaning, and then what's the another one? Indefinite, definite meaning, introvert meaning, right? The introvert meaning and definite meaning. That's the right. So we are more rely on definite meaning and not rely on introvert meaning. It means sometimes people say here, but not really mean that, right? The word they use something like different, but they're not really meaning that. So when they ask again question, what do you mean? Then they will explain different, right? Not really mean that, sometimes comes. So therefore, you shouldn't take exactly word by word. More think what really talks this meaning in this word. So rely on this meaning, not the words, right? And then again, meaning is more definite, not the interpreted meaning. So, and then also look at that word. It's also possible that you can see comes from where? The experiences, or comes from just knowledge. And then within these two, more rely on which words comes from experience. Knowledge is just knowledge. They never investigate. They say it. They hear from here and then say here. This is the knowledge to it. So the experience, they say you hear it, you contemplating it, then comes here. That's better instead of like directly comes from like ear to mouth. This is wrong way to do it, right? So these are the 4 reliable, 4 not reliable, and then using the logic, the 4 reasoning that we're using, right? Whatever, okay. So yeah, if you look at the more Buddhist book, you can find those investigate how we investigate, how we analyze it. Okay, now let me continue this the Lamrim stage of the path. It is said that we value the Buddha knowledge even less than that of an occurred diviner. If a reliable diviner said, I know that this year you will not face any problem, we are relieved. If he said, this year you will face problem, do this, and not that. So we strive to follow his active. If we do not, we think I do not follow his advice and worrying it, right? So this is happening. So sometimes diviners saying, or do this puja or do this prayer, and you will solve this problem. And then people, until you finish this puja, too much worry. I have to do faster and faster, faster. That's just not really reliable. So yeah. So because we say, what is the cause of happiness? Virtuous actions. What is the cause of suffering? Non-virtuous action. This is clear. We don't need any diviners, right? So only need your investment, investigated, and your experience. That needed. We don't need a diviners, right? So that's the same. We are more rely on diviners than Buddha, and sometimes protection. Protector. This I don't think Westerners have that kind of system. We Buddhists have, especially the Tibetan Buddhist has that system, that protector, oracle, right? Too much rely on oracle, more than Buddha.
We have influencers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Online people who like tell you what's right and what's wrong. And it can
Yeah.
be very often wrong. So
Yeah,
they're
it's good.
basically
It's,
random people with their 15 seconds of fame say whatever they want.
it's true. It's good. It's good. So yeah, the oracle that we talk.
Or the pundits from the news.
Yeah. Yeah, Pan, these are not really, sometimes people look hand, right? A hand, and then, they decided what is your life, dreaming, what problem you will have. So it's not 100% rejectable, but not 100% reliable. Put it in, investigate it. Whatever they said it, listening and investigate it. So that's how we need to do. So yeah, this is the problem His Holiness Dalai Lama tried to stop Shukden, right? Because they're too much more than Buddha. Even they say Buddhists, but they rely on the Shukden more than Buddha. So, and this is the wrong way to do it regarding the Buddha's, like Buddhist teaching. So this is how we said it. Now giving us advice, Lama Tsongkhapa said, but when the Buddha said, you should give this up, you should practice this, do we commit ourselves to these injunctions? Right? It's when Buddha said that you should give up this, you should practice this. And then Lama Tsongkhapa asking us, do we commit ourselves to injunctions? And Lama Tsongkhapa also said, do we worry if we do not follow them? Or do we say, well, the teaching says that, but right now, under the circumstances, I cannot follow it. I must do this instead, and completely forsaking the Buddha's teaching. Proceed strength way with disregard, according to our own ideas. And then let me finish the conclusion here. If you do not examine in your mind, you will be pleased. If you are not misled by the superficial, yeah. If you are not misled by the superficial, look within your mind and reflect carefully. This condition is despicable. Yeah, despicable. Thus, reflect again and again upon the good qualities of the Buddha and strive to attain certainty from the depth of your heart. Once you gain this, you reach the very core of practice of going for refuge. For you will gain certainty with the respect to the teaching from which the Buddha grows and the community that practice the teaching. Without this, there is no practice of going for refuge that transform your mind, not to mention other paths. So yeah, so our refuge means just investigate and practice, investigate and practice. So this is how we rely on the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, right? Okay, so this is how mainly saying which we rely on, which we shouldn't rely, right? Okay, and then yeah, including that born Buddhists, our community, as when we ask them, do we have a really refuge practice? Almost less or zero, right? But when we ask, are you Buddhist? They might say, yes, I am Buddhist. Why not? Right? So yeah, the defining Buddhist and non-Buddhist, which is like, the rely on the three ratna, three jewels or not. The rely on three jewels, it all is teaching and thinking and then meditation, three wisdom that you have to build it up, three wisdom within one object. The hearer wisdom, contemplating wisdom, meditation wisdom, which is experiences that brings you, which you let you have achievement or attainments. That's how it goes, right? Okay. So, but here, yes, okay, we rely on someone's, but always decisions is your own wishes. Conclusion decisions come from your own wishes. Maybe it's not really proper way to do this, right? So if you rely on something, first you should know what is this, and then how is it. You should know that, then we can rely. So otherwise, the regarding Buddhism, we say, okay, we rely on the Buddha, we rely on the Guru, but the final decision is totally against what Guru said, what Buddha said. And when you look at just your self-centeredness saying it, just your anger saying it, just your attachment saying it, right? That's not how you follow in your daily life. And then all the concluded come blame to Buddha and Buddha's teaching, all the religious. It's blamed, they're all religious. Not blame to yourself that, well, I'm following it. I'm not really, usually I'm following. When you look at maybe 100%, we are following our self-centeredness, right? We are following what anger said it. We are following what attachment said it. We are following what the pride said it. We are not really following against all those. So then how could you rely on Buddha Dhamma Sangha that would regarding Buddhists? Or otherwise, how you can rely on your gods, how you rely on your holy beings, right? Yeah. Then His Holiness, recently His Holiness Dalai Lama in Ladakh, he visit pilgrimage to all these different temple. He went to the Islamic temple. Islamic temple even have a two type, right? Shia and right. So he went both. And then he went to Krishnati temple. They warm-heartedly welcomed him. And then he went there. He prays to there with them. And then of course he went to some Buddhist temple. And he's always in harmony, compassion. He advised that. And then when I heard from there, what is Shia and what the Islamic, Shia and Sunni, right? So usually they have a big fighting between these two religions. But in Ladakh, these two is very like a what do we call it? What's that? Unifying, and it's very close to them, right? Even they're two different type, they are very close. And they are saying we are close because of His Holiness Dalai Lama's advice. And we are being example to the world, other Islamic, right? Sunni and Shias, how need to be stay together, be harmoniously. This is wonderful, actually. And then, then what I try to say, if you really follow exactly what Quran said, if you really follow exactly what Bible said, what Bhagavad Gita said, then we will not have a that big problem. But individually, you are liberated from suffering or not is depend. It's an individually problem, individually issue, right? Otherwise, we will definitely not create world problem by religious if you follow those exactly their instruction. But we are not doing that. We are not doing the follow those religious instruction. We more follow our own wishes, and our wishes, our aspirations, our interesting is too much associated with those negative emotion. Then how could we have a gain happiness, right? So yeah, this is how really we have to think. Okay. Any other questions regarding those? Yes, please.
So what if there is one particular thing in the religion that you disagree with, and you want to change that because you believe that it could, be something that is not good for the world or yourself and living beings in general, and so you don't follow that? Would that be considered being your own wishes in a way, in a negative way, or would that be a good decision? But to still follow that religion, just change a few beliefs about the religion, because you believe that those are not correct and are bad for living beings.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
Yeah. In generally, I can see all the religious which has a theistic, right? I don't think the religious are problem. Those religious always make us peace in world, because they talks not kill and so on and so on. That's all the virtuous things they talks in the conduct. They talks in a mentally, they talks compassion. How strong, how low, less, that's depend, but they talks compassion. That's way to look at every single religious is not caused to problem in our world, but very much possibly follower can be cause as big problem in the world. Who's the following the Quran, who follow the Bhagavad Gita, who follow Buddhism, who follow like a Bible. This could be created big problem in the world, but religion itself not. That's one thing clear, right? But individually, if you go more depth, looking the peace or depth happiness, then you can learn all this, and then you can disagree with someone, right?
That's not entirely true, because the Catholic religion used God to justify enslaving people. So not all religions are authentic and true of the heart.
Yeah, and also again, I will come back to your conclude question answer. Okay, again regarding what you're saying is His Holiness Dalai Lama said, when you look at that way, I'm slave to gods. I'm not really independent, because God created me. The God whatever God wishes. So when say God created me, you already have a less self-centeredness. What I need to do, not that. What God wants it. If you think what God wants it, what God need to do it, if you follow that way, already they are less self-centeredness. Right?
I don't understand. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Can you explain? Yeah.
What you're saying is that the Catholic Church, I'm understanding. The Catholic Church, the precepts in the Bible say, but unfortunately, man will interpret things in a way, they have their view, that causes great hardship. And that's part of the problem. But your own relationship is something that you have to analyze and look at. And if you have a relationship between an existing religion with God, then you have to figure out what that is. So it's two things in a way. One is, you're right, the Catholic Church itself, the institute.
Use the Bible and its words.
Right. So it's not the words itself, Geshe was saying. Those are pure, but the way people hear this change.
Yeah, how to explain it, right? Yeah.
And it causes great strife. Is that clear?
Yeah, how to explain that? That's the way we also investigate Buddha's teaching, and then all those commentary. So they explain based on their knowledge. They explain based on their perspective. So their perspective and their knowledge is not necessarily is truth, right? That's why we investigate. Anyhow, so yeah, in generally, all the religion is good, but the follower and practitioner could be goes wrong, right? But individually, we can against each other. The against means not against by anger. That's the wrong way to do it. Not against by ignorance, against by reason, right? So I cannot believe this because the reason. That's possible, you can do that. And then this is take us more individually issue. Individually, my own, yeah, I cannot believe that, I cannot believe this because of this reason. Definitely 100% we have a right thing to do that, right? And then that's where we choose to our path for leading happiness, right? So, the less capacity might see less idea to leading the happiness, and then great capacity might see the great idea to like the finding happiness in our daily life. This is depend on your capacity. So therefore, you can against it, you can reject it, but never disrespect it. Never disrespect to any religious, any follower, right? But you can against, you can reject it, your individual way, right? So you don't like it, then that means you cannot make everyone don't like it, right? So whatever they like it. You don't like it, that's your issue. That's your commitment. This is your right thing to do it. That's how we need to choose our own path, right? Is this your answer?
Well, there are, I found
Mhm,
through my study, because I like to learn about a lot of religions,
mhm,
that some religions do say certain
mhm,
things
mhm.
that I feel hurt other people
Okay.
who may believe a different thing. For
Mhm,
example, like there may be a religion that says that this belief is incorrect, and so you should. Well, I do, but I prefer not to.
Let's say, yeah, I can give one example, right?
Yeah.
Let's say either the Bible or the other religious saying that fish and other things for eat for people, we can kill it. We can right to kill it. Is this said it right?
Well, I also found examples of things about hurting other people.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
So I first give you this example and
that's
make
a
clear,
tip.
then
That is
I
an
can
example.
discussion with you.
Yes,
Okay.
that is one
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
So, but could you still, like, if you're part of that religion,
Mhm,
but you wish to believe a different idea of that religion because you believe that, say, killing fish is not good, or maybe
mhm,
say in the Catholic Church you drink wine for communion,
mhm,
and you wish to not drink alcohol.
mhm.
And so could you like change that part of the religion because you believe that it is not right?
In your own practice.
Yes, in your own practice
yes.
of that religion. Or would that be like going against that religion and being against it because you of your own wishful needs to benefit yourself and not others?
Mhm. That's I try to give you an example of how I accept it, right? I know in our religious the killing fish is not right thing to do it. So it still has an emotion and it's one kind of being, right? But they teach us fish is okay to kill it. But I totally against that. But it means I'm not looking that religious is 100% wrong, right? So there are 10 word right things, 5 word wrong things, right?
Yeah.
And then we have to all think holistic, and then that's how we need to judge. But individually, they might see like some kind of strange things, some kind of negative thoughts. But let's just say, I know that's the wrong thing to do it, but as they are religious, I cannot stop,
Yes.
right? But individual person, I can explain. I not try to change that Christianity religious, right? Who said, okay to kill fish. I cannot, it's impossible to change that. So leave it there because they have so many beautiful, so many beneficial things there. Leave it, that's the way we look at the religious. Even we see some negative there. And then like Islamic, they talk about jihad, right? So the jihad means they sacrifice for religious. And then many different ways to explain it. Sacrifice for religious is not really say actually kill others who has not followed this Islamic. But the many commentary, many people accept that way, kill others to, this is not the religious problem. It's a jihad, that's one word, but how I explain it. So they are like the positive way to explain it, negative way to explain it. The more people follow the negative way to explain it. This is one of the common in this samsaric place, right? So we have easy to follow negative. Then what is easy things, we just follow it. Very difficult to follow the good things, right? So therefore, in generally, just follow, turn into the easy negative because it's not the religious problem. This is more our human beings and samsaric beings problem because we already have all this negative emotion and mental actions that which can easily to take actions negatives are, right? And effortlessly. This is one of the samsaric problem. So therefore, regarding thinking those, yes, even they have some kind of negative, which things against, then in my own personal, I just leave it there, which I know impossible to change it. Better me to look at, they have so many beautiful things to keep in the world, right? But sometimes Dalai Lama does that, like what called changing religious, what is it? No, I mean like
Conversion.
Okay, conversion, thank you. So converting, that's wrong actually, right? So teach and let them decide. Give them option, free. But the most of religious converting. And then one time Dalai Lama said, even the Christian come to the Mongolia to convert it, Christian, Korean. Then Dalai Lama said, these are already Buddhist country that try not convert it. So our tradition Buddhist, there are no way, there are no teachings that convert it. So always like open an option. This is how keep the world peace, right? Give you option. You can learn without becoming a Buddhist. You can learn so many things. And if you agree, if you want to do it, you're welcome, right? So that's how we do here. So whoever saying, come to me and say, I'm taking refuge. I say, please take your time. Take your time, learn more. Don't have to become a Buddhist. We need a world peace. We need your happiness. We need my happiness. Regarding having this happiness, not necessarily become Buddhist, right? As far as you follow the instruction, as far as you know the idea perfect to how to bring peace to self and other, that's enough for us. So therefore, we very much encourage say, or not necessarily, take your time, take your time. Always say that. Earlier, maybe I postponed 2 persons, almost 2 years. Say, think again, right? So finally they comes and then that's their choice. And then we give refuge vows and then teach them what is rule regulation, what is you have to follow, right? So that's we did it and still we're doing it. There's no way that we're converting others, right? It's very independent, religious, you can say it. So, and then, who is converting, I can see there are one negative emotion, intentions, one positive intentions. The positive intentions, they're saying, okay, this is the best path. This is the best path I see, which I can share them have to more good things, positive. Another negative intention is, okay, converting more Christian, more Islamic, more Buddhist, more Hindus. And then we have a big group. providing. What? So that is very wrong intentions. And then I can see most intentions like that. Why they convert? We need more people. That's the wrong way to do it. At least you can say, I'm converting them because this is the best way to see me. And this is the best I can share to others. You can say that. This is good reason to say that, right? So anyhow, so this is even we see that all this negative in each religions. And then even you see you are not that much deep come Buddhist, right? Sometimes you might see some conflict in Buddhist. For regarding, say, many people saying, okay, we hear a lot of hell around when the Christian and so on, so on. I come back to Buddhists. Buddhists are still talking hell around. What is different? That's the opposite. So we talk hell around, right? So this is one example. You might see that. But anyhow, the one thing is Buddhist different is free for investigate, free for reject. You don't have to take everything what Buddha said it. You can, they have the two different paths, right? The few different paths. Whatever you like it, you can choose that. And once you choose that, then not too much at your wishes. You choose, okay, I choose to be a good human being in this lifetime. If this is choose, then not do whatever you like to do it, right? After you choose, do more how they instructed to you become a good person. See that way. Yeah, that's how we need to go. So before you have a really independent, you have a lot of time for learning, independent choose. After you choose, important to follow instruction more than your wishes. This is how change better, right? Okay, yeah, it's nice. Okay, any other question? Do they have question online? Okay. Yeah, I prefer like 2 verses to complete, but just one is okay. So we can talk next. Is 33 verses. Okay. Okay, thank you so much.
Geshe?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. A very dear friend of mine asked if I would ask you and our group if we could please say a prayer. His nephew died yesterday. He's 17 years old. He was 17 years old.
Okay.
So he just asked if we could just please to keep him in our prayers.
Sure, definitely.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, she can send me the name. I think.
Joseph.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. Okay, that's it, right? Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. It's warm today. It's very hot.
Stay cool, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Geshe.
Thank you.
Good teacher.
Thank you, Geshe.
Thank you.